Jen's like the notebook connoisseur. Didn't you go to Japan and like make your own notebook?
I did. And I bought like 50 pens.
Do you ever get to the end of a notebook?
No.
More! Lunch break! Hey guys!
We are back.
We're back.
Wow, nice glasses, Wes.
Oh, thanks. They look just like my other ones. I've been talking about this collab to a few people for like over a year, and it finally happened.
So now we're officially all wearing different frames.
Yes. Because in the comments, people are always like, Chris and Wes, you guys wearing the same frames? Basically, Jin's an eyewear company. It's like a 30-year-old eyewear company in Japan. They just started branching out into the States. Actually, the marketing director at the time, who's now the creative director, is a fan of Wong Fu. And we did a lunch break previously, and that's where you first got your glasses.
Yeah, I didn't have glasses my entire life until that lunch break.
We actually worked with Jin's before on lunch break, and also we shot a scene in Yappy at their store. So it was kind of like an ongoing relationship, and then when they started this collaboration thing for a design for a completely new frame, they asked me if I wanted to do it, and I was like, yes, I want to do it. And also I got to have a hand at basically everything that was involved, the packaging, the in-store display, the event, the look and feel, just to have everything kind of cohere. And I think you guys know me, it was very Wes.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are the frames. You can't really tell, but they're based off my old frame. They're matte black, they're metal, spring-loaded hinges. It's a completely new silhouette. And then all like the other stuff I made too. You guys can check it out. I'll put a link. But I'm very proud of this. It's my baby. And then I guess the coolest part is like this whole thing. It comes with two, a chrome and a sapphire. All right. There it is.
But that's not the first thing you've designed, right? You've been a designer for a long time.
For Wong Fu, yes. Design has always been fun, but I've had definitely like a bad case of imposter syndrome. Like, I didn't go to design school. I don't think I can call myself a designer.
But you're the Wesley Chan.
I know what that feeling is.
Right? It's like, and you have all these friends that like actually did go to design school or art school, and it's like, no, they're a designer, I'm not. I still struggle with that, but I think in the end, I really tried my best and I cared a lot about it, and I think that shows. Yeah, design stuff for Wong Fu. I had a little bit of stuff with like apparel, base gray. It's always been fun. It's always been like kind of on the side because I have to take my time with it or else it won't be how I want.
Yeah, I think it's really cool that you did this whole project by yourself outside of work, you know, that we're able to like pursue these other passions that is totally unrelated to, you know, like Wong Fu, YouTube, film life. Basically, what do you guys do outside of work?
One of the most frequently asked questions is, what do you guys do outside the office or for fun? And I think that question is like two-part. The first part is, what do you do to kind of get away from this, like to unwind? In that sense, I think we're pretty normal. We hang out with friends, watch movies, recharge on our own, like self-care time, just to recharge. But then I think as creatives, we stay creative, even outside the office. And that can either be like a completely different thing, like music or something, or it's just the same skills applied to a new project that's very personal, right?
So what do we do outside of work? We do more work.
Exactly.
What I do outside of work kind of intertwines with what I do here. So I'm like, I continue with my design work, but I'm doing more like, I guess, commission projects with people, like doing like brand packages, logo design. There's that, there's like digital, and then there's like random projects like, oh, like a wedding sign. It's more hands-on, I would say. So yeah, more like a visual thing, but it spreads into, I guess, many categories.
You started off just doing like doodles and things for yourself, and then like eventually, you know, people started taking notice and started hiring you for like your mural, right?
Yeah, I feel like that was always a thing I've been doing since college. I've always been like seeking out those opportunities to expand my skill set. I guess. Like, it's all like not really related, but it's all helping me gain different skills. Yeah, but on the side, I like at home, I like journaling, and that's not like the typical journaling you think of, like I'm writing out my feelings of today. You know,
that's not what
just
you do?
Not just writing. It's the new thing of today is like bullet journaling and some other stuff like a mixture of like scrapbooking, sketchbooking, which I have right here with me today. Amazing.
Jen's like the notebook connoisseur. Didn't you go to Japan and like make your own notebook?
I did. And I bought like 50 pens.
Do you ever get to the end of a notebook?
No.
Oh, really? You don't go all the way
You're
through?
a true notebook connoisseur if you have a pile of notebooks back home that are empty and never touched because they're too beautiful.
I don't think I've ever gotten to the end of a notebook.
Yeah, me neither.
Hopefully like things like this, like bullet journal, it's like a productivity system So actually it's been helping me like be creative but also be productive. So things like I'm able to write out my to-do lists for the days and prepare for the future, but I'm also like able to integrate like layouts.
But then do you spend too much time like trying to design
There is
your
that.
layout and
There
then
is
your
that.
productivity just
I've toned it back a lot in order to be productive, because ironically you become unproductive.
But when you first started out, it wasn't like, I want to have a side hustle. It was like, I like lettering, I like scrapbooking, these things I like, and then opportunities came from that, right? That's like the most fulfilling thing when you work on yourself and it pays off and people...
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, it pays off because you create something that you wanted, you get to share it with people and they like it too.
Like you're driven by your passion versus like the monetary side.
Yeah.
I think the hardest part though with the hands-on like art stuff, there's so many categories that I feel like I didn't know where to focus on. You know, it's like, oh, there's drawing, there's painting, there's like journaling, like
or
stationery.
like digital versus like
Digital,
physical
yeah.
art, right?
Yeah, and I feel like I'm doing all of it and I'm having fun with it, but it's hard to be like, this is my thing.
Speaking of designs, we have a new Remodel Minority shirt.
It's not this one.
It's not this one, but it's a white shirt with blue Remodel Minority.
Different colorway.
Yeah. This shirt was like super popular. You guys really resonated with the message. Check this shirt out on wongfustore.com, and all the designs there are made by either Jen or myself. So
I think what you guys would probably first like associate me with is probably like woodworking. I think that was something that I like made videos about and things like that. But I think looking back, it was like very much not really out of like necessity, but like the first thing was like, oh, I just wanted to make my own apple boxes. And then so like everything was kind of a step to get to that point. So like to make apple boxes, like, oh, okay, I need like a surface, a workbench. So I made a workbench, and then
so to make the apple box, you had to make a workbench?
yeah.
So the workbench was actually the first thing you made?
I think so. That was one of my first projects.
Like completely out of scratch. That's really good.
So,
So like
like,
the four legs all were even and
Wow.
tough. It's
so
actually
I
harder than
had
you
this door that was like gonna be thrown away like on this set, and then I just took it home because I used it as like a desk surface. I'm like, oh, I could make this into like a workbench because I've always liked working with my hands and like doing physical things. But it's also tough because it's like really like physically demanding too. So like
I feel like you like that.
I do. I like that. I like expending energy because I feel like sitting in front of like a computer too long like kind of makes me go crazy. But then like actually using my body and like I enjoy that kind of
The physicality.
creativity. Yeah. So same with like lighting and things like that. I like to like
Gripping.
We saw what you can make, Benson.
yeah.
And
So
Jen.
it's all about like having a vision. I think a lot of like creatives, they know what they want to make, but then it's like the how
They
is
get lost in
where
between.
I enjoy it the most. Say like for this example, like having, okay, this is what it's gonna look like, and then I love the process of like, okay, let's figure it out, and like how is that actually gonna happen?
I like to keep my mind on a lot of different creative outlets. I try and do obviously film related, so like obviously lighting and camera work. But then in terms of like what you were talking about, like things that are unrelated to what I do here. So I've been doing design stuff. I've been trying to start a clothing line. Personal project. Yeah, I think it grew out of the fact that I used to make t-shirts and hoodies back in high school for a few years, and I've always wanted to at least channel that creativity in that direction. That's kind of like where I've been kind of exploring. Hopefully it comes out. Still working on it.
Yeah. I remember when I started my base grade stuff, you were like pretty interested. And you knew your stuff about like the types of print and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, Chris, very good. I imagine you just go home and you just like soak in as much knowledge as possible. Like your creative outlet is actually a creative input. You just soak in everything.
And you also do like web design too.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you designed our website. You're also working on Bopo Mofo's website.
Yeah. You're very humble, Chris. Yeah. You do a lot of stuff.
I used to draw a lot, and I used to explore that kind of creativity, even before like I got into filmmaking. But I recently realized that through the design process, I hit a roadblock when, I don't doodle enough. So it's like, my drawing skills are kind of a little whack.
We should all, there should be a doodle break at Wongfu where we just doodle, you know?
It's me every day.
Like your drawing skills should improve the more you doodle.
Practice makes perfect. Like you can't just be like, I think I'm gonna be better tomorrow. Brain blast.
Like if you draw a horse 100 times, I think the 100th horse will be decent.
I hope so. If you're actually looking at a real horse, if you're just from your head every time, No, it should be better.
Would you say that the hardest part is then like finding time to even do that, you know? Because like you're saying, like you wish you could practice, but it's like it's hard to prioritize that.
Like you can doodle as a de-stressor.
Right.
Right? I don't know if I have that intrinsic like compulsion to
Or when you go into it, it's more like brain power because I have to think about what I'm drawing versus like just freehand, like let's just go.
Yeah.
One of the things I've told myself with creative blocks is they're gonna happen. Like you can't expect the idea to be free flowing all the way. And if it does, you have to ask yourself, well, maybe because I didn't question it enough. Maybe I can make it actually better if I thought about it more. And whenever I come to a block, I don't get upset right away or I don't get frustrated because these are expected. And it's like that's the challenge. You're trying to figure something out. You're trying to get to a vision. And if you just kind of like take a step away, you'll actually realize like that block was actually more like a speed boost, or it was a chance for you to like take a different direction just to see and then maybe come back. Like those things are actually opportunities to update the design or to expand.
That's funny how you said, am I not asking enough questions? I'm the opposite. Like I have to become very conscious of like, I'm thinking too much. I'm asking too many questions of myself and I'm getting overwhelmed. That's why I get into like an art block. Put it down. So then
I can relate that.
Yeah, stepping away is the best option because then you can get clarity of the situation. Like, let's say it's something visual, like I'm on Illustrator, right? Like, if I close it, it's like 3 a.m. I think like, okay, my brain's kind of crazy right now. It's late. I should sleep. If I come back to it 24 hours later, I'm like, this was actually pretty good. Like, whereas in the moment, I'm like, this is terrible.
I love that feeling when you take a step away. You come back, you're like, all right, not bad.
Yeah.
Like you wake up and then you open it. Oh.
Yeah, I made that.
Yeah.
Oh, I did that.
That's me every day.
I feel like I relate more to like the having nothing in my brain. I think my problem is like I always like I think of something, right, and then I get to the point like, oh, somebody else has already done that, and that just kind of kills my motivation. Like, oh, it's already been done. So then, like, right, just thinking of a sketch. Like I'll think it's a great idea, and then oh, that sounds a lot like this, and then that'll just kind of stop me in my tracks there. So like figuring out how to make things my own too is a real hard hurdle for me to get over.
I totally relate. And I think just getting something on paper or getting that idea out, regardless if you've seen it or not, regardless of how similar it's to that other thing, like just getting it out so that you can make it yours is actually first step. Like just put something on paper. And I'm not the best at that for sure. But then realizing that, hey, this is all just part of the process. I'm not going to reach my final thing, on my first go. It's going to be iterations and edits all over the place.
There's also like the factor of just time itself, right?
Yes.
Like
my enemy.
Like get home from work, how do I even have time or energy to approach something new? Yeah.
Like I've been wanting to like get back into woodworking and making things. But then it's like the time, and then it's also like 90 degrees out every day for the last month.
Yes.
So like I don't want to spend hours outside trying to like make something. As soon as it starts cooling down, I promise you guys I'll try to make something.
Cool.
That isn't something you would do at nighttime either, right? Like,
yeah, I can't.
Danger.
Like I can't run a table saw at night,
Right.
Like, with the neighborhood asleep and all that.
So you have like an ideal time you like working on like side stuff.
Yeah.
I imagine it being like a Sunday, late morning kind of thing.
That is me too. Like I like weekend, that like 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. section. But that's usually like where I work and stuff like that. So that's usually on the weekends. And I feel like that's such a small pocket of time. It makes me sad. So I squeeze that in at nighttime when after work, right?
It is tough though, especially with people that are at 9 to 5s and they're trying to do something on their own. But in the end, like that side hustle or whatever you want to call it, having that story is going to make it all the more meaningful too, When you look back on that experience of whatever you made, you want to have a good feeling that came from that. Not like I rushed and I had to like sacrifice all this stuff and I wasn't in a good mood, but I got it done. Like that's great and all, but you want to think back and be like, yeah, I worked on it when I felt best about it, and I think that creates the best project. Obviously, you have to take into account like deadlines and stuff. Wow, that was actually a really good creative talk in general. I thought it was gonna be more about like creative outlets and stuff, but I think just the approach on how to make something and how to take care of yourself while doing it. Those are some tips from your friends at Wong Fu.
It's definitely got me thinking about the next thing.
Yeah.
The next big
What is it?
I'm not telling you.
All right, show me.
When can we expect the new launch?
The new JD Lay.
We'll see.
We'll see, guys.
Things will be happening.
All right, and then Benson has some kind of secret project he's talking about. And then Chris, we're excited to hear about whatever you're developing, but no rush. Like I said, these frames, they're called the iframes. stand for Enhance Your Evolution, which is basically a fancy way of saying embrace
It can
and
help you see.
celebrate how you're gonna change in life and what challenges you come across. These are available now at jins.com, links, everything down there. And hopefully you guys take this advice and go make something awesome.
We also have a Patreon page with really cool perks like merch discounts, meetups, and whatnot.
See you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday.
Bye.